talked about recently Sledgehammer wanting to open the lines of communication with the community and discussing pretty much on like a one-on-one basis, almost a conversational back and forth between the community and themselves about the game, updates, and other statuses alike that pertain to World War II. Now, while things may have been a little rocky at the beginning towards the launch of World War II, especially as of recently, the last month or so, there's been a ton of different updates over on Reddit in which Condry or the Sledgehammer actual Reddit account has been posting actively either on their own threads giving updates and everything on a daily or semi-daily basis, or they've just been responding to different threads that are already out there saying, hey, I saw your feedback, this is something we're taking into consideration. That's all great and everything like that, but yesterday we actually got another introduction into a new way of a little bit more, once again, open lines of communication with this. Yesterday, Sledgehammer started the first of what is going to be weekly updates over on their blog, and talking about a lot of different things, and yesterday's was pretty cool because we saw some insight to things that we're hoping to see some clarification on, some things that you might never have even thought about, and then some community showcases as well. So it's a very cool place to have everything centralized and, of course, weekly updates. At first, they prefaced this initial one with things we already kind of knew about. A bit of a brief update talking about various different adjustments made within the last few days, a few community shoutouts, including one to my buddy and fellow member of Carnage, These Knives Only, for being the first match to prestige by only using melee weapons. We got things like the announcement of Double Double Weekend, which if you guys played it all yesterday, you might have noticed that we have double XP and double weapon XP. They also mentioned Prop Hunt returning this week. They also mentioned the whistling fixes and zombies, but the really good stuff comes towards the end, and that is something we're gonna be focusing on here at this one. In this video, we're gonna be talking about the statement that Sledgehammer made saying we have our next big game update coming next week for all platforms. So this is gonna be completely different than a little playlist update to kickstart week 4 of the Resistance event. This is gonna be a full-blown update with fixes and different things coming, and that's what we're gonna be talking about here in this one. The things that you can end up looking forward to with this upcoming update. Right now, as I look at my notes, there's 9 things that I wanna talk about in particular. We might see some of these, we might see all of them, or we might see maybe closer to none, but I would assume that that's not the case, obviously, because we're going to have this update. So 9 things I wanna talk about here at this one. Let's jump right into it. So the first thing is dealing with ranked play. Whenever we ended up getting the start of Season 2, everybody initially thought that we'd end up jumping in and having the ability to go into 4-man parties because that's what was seemingly advertised whenever we ended up having that Season 2 start. But unfortunately, that's actually not the case right now. If you guys have jumped on and played for yourself, you still are limited and you can't get into that full party, which, whether that be via the MMR system that was in place at the moment or just glitch, whatever it may be, that is something that is being looked at and is going to be implemented here very shortly. They ended up mentioning that was coming in the works as well, so expect that to be coming. That's a minor fix compared to the other things we're gonna be talking about here at this. But the second thing is the flak gun event. Now, this is one that you might have actually already experienced, so for you, the patch doesn't really necessarily change too much, but if you're like me and many others who have yet to see it, this is something that I would expect to be rolled out in total to everybody, in which this is gonna be a every 30-minute thing in the headquarters to which you can end up jumping on the flak guns. You can shoot down and collect different care packages. You can take out enemies that are attacking the headquarters, all that good stuff, and at the end, you'll yield whatever net amounts of armory credits as per what your participation level was within the event itself. So while it is available right now for some people, it's not there for everybody. It's been rolling out incrementally, and we actually saw this with the headquarters whenever they were fixing this towards the launch of the game, and at that point, once again, some people had it incrementally, and then after an update, we ended up getting it rolled out to everybody in full. So I'm expecting it to be the same sort of situation here in which some people have already experienced it, but this update is going to roll it out for everybody, that testing phase is now seemingly over. So I'm looking forward to that one in particular, but the next thing that is mentioned by Sledgehammer is something of community custom playlists, which is awesome because we'll be able to see custom games perhaps saved and then uploadable and downloadable if you want to jump in and play some games with some friends, or if you're a YouTuber, maybe some open lobbies, whatever it may be in that regard. But that's going to be something that is maybe not necessarily thought about all that much, but a cool little feature coming nonetheless. And that actually reminds me of something that I'm hoping that we end up seeing some community game nights coming back within World War II, because those were a lot of fun. If you guys remember Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare, and other games like that, playing with the devs and just casually hanging out as a community, talking about the game, having a good time, those were a lot of fun. So hopefully we end up seeing those happen. Kind of side note, but nonetheless, wanted to throw that in there. Now, as for the fourth thing, well, the one thing that I never thought about, and keep keeping with that trend of maybe you didn't really ever think of this, but it's a nice addition. Well, that's something that Sledgehammer decided to throw in with the prestige tokens, because they are going to be adding in a last chance prompt for prestige tokens. I know that personally, I've lost a few tokens randomly when I went to unlock something for good around, say, rank 30 or so, and I realized that I actually don't even have one at that point in time. So I presumably, somewhere along the way, lost it by accidentally unlocking something with it instead. So this is a nice little thing that I think is going to be touched on and they're looking into. Now, as for being one of those things that they bring up and never really address, I doubt that's the case, because this was something that is more so trivial and lesser mentioned in the grand scheme of things amongst the community, that being brought up on its own, I can't imagine that it was brought into the limelight just to be looked over. So definitely looking forward to that one. Once again, a minor thing, but very useful. Now, the fifth thing that I want to talk about actually deals with War XP, because for those guys that remember, we ended up doing a little video about this, talking about it and breaking it down a little bit further, but seemingly XP rates for War have been bugged as of recently, and it started right around the time in which there was the Prop Hunt XP reduction, in that sense where when Prop Hunt was initially introduced, you could get upwards of, say, 60,000 XP per game, depending on the size of your prop and if you stayed alive the entire time. So it was something that was tuned down because that's a ridiculous amount of XP, but around that time, people also started to report that they were getting less XP in War. So whether it be a bug in which by nerfing the XP rates to Prop Hunt it affected other modes as well, or if it's just a bug related to War in general, we don't exactly know, but Sledgehammer says that they were working with Raven to try and find a fix, and that it should be something that is on the horizon coming up as being buffed out and returned to normal. So if you guys have noticed a little bit of a change up on that one, don't worry too much. As of right now, it seems like it's going to be fixed out very quickly, but that is something that, having addressed it, it does look like it's an actual problem, not just a theory the community has had. But as for the rest of the stuff we're going to talk about here within this video, it's all proposed stuff that makes sense as to it coming within this update, but it hasn't been addressed within this most recent community update over on the Sledgehammer blog that we know is going to be stuff that is definitively addressed and changed. Now, these things, though, once again, they do make sense, so we'll kick it right out with this one, that being paint jobs. Now, for those of you guys, once again, we've talked about this so many times, and I apologize for maybe sounding like a broken record on talking about it again, but paint jobs is one of those things that we ended up getting a lot of different teases about this coming within the Resistance event, and so far through 3 weeks, or almost 3 weeks, we haven't seen anything just yet on it being added in to World War II, and that's something that I'm super excited for. We thought it would come maybe whenever we could upload emblems and everything like that, but that did not happen. We thought that we'd end up getting it within one of the playlist updates for World War II to kickstart a new week of the Resistance event, but once again, that has not happened. So with it actually coming with an actual update where something has to be physically placed in to add that data into the game, it makes sense that this next update is probably the most likely candidate for where we end up seeing this added in. It's going to be something that does require a little bit more than just a hot fix. It is going to be something that adds in a bunch of things overall, so throw it in the mix there, and it also is still within the Resistance event on when it was teased initially. Now, that said, also, number 7 here on this list is Domination XL. Once again, another thing that we thought was going to be coming at various points in times already during the Resistance event and has been teased as coming during it. Domination XL is going to be another feature to Domination, but a separate playlist of its own for those of you guys that have not heard anything about it, to which Domination XL will have 100 points per kill rather than the current 50 points per kill, which will encourage maybe some more score streak play and things like that, but a lot of people are kind of on the fence on which one they want to see more, so it's going to be something that Sledgehammer puts in as, say, maybe a testing method. But personally, I think that we'll see a large influx of players go to Domination XL and maybe not even return to the standard Domination. That's just me though. You guys may have differing opinions, and that's totally cool. But that said, number 8 on this list is going to be something that we might see coming out of this as well, especially with a more heavy stress on score streaks. But the score streak tuning that we ended up getting mentioned was coming quite a bit of time ago. We still really haven't seen all that much unless they did some minor buffs and it kind of went under the radar. But whenever we ended up talking about these adjustments, people were thinking maybe it would be massive amounts in terms of buffs, or we'd end up seeing some different scores adjusted so that maybe some are a little bit harder to get, some are easier to get. Maybe we get more paratroopers, maybe we get less paratroopers, stuff like that. We haven't really seen addressed all that much. That's something that's very possible still that has been missing for quite some time as well. And the 9th and final thing is one that I really am just throwing in here that I think is doubtful, but it's possible if we're ending up getting an update, because there are some things that still don't really add up. that being an operation update or some more content within supply drops. And that's something in which I only say this because we still have yet to see the revolver that's been teased from Twitch Prime. And that's something that has been out there for quite some time. It was tailored for the Resistance event because of the Resistance bribe and the Resistance drop you end up getting for free with Twitch Prime, which, by the way, if you guys have not claimed that already, make sure you do that. It's only live for another 2 weeks or so. But on the promo art, we ended up getting something of a revolver, which we still have yet to see, and everybody's wondering, when's it gonna be coming in? And also, with the secret and hidden variants we talked about a couple of days ago, maybe those are added in as well too. Maybe not all of them, but maybe some here and there. So maybe we get another update in the sense of supply drop content. I don't know. I'm curious to see if it comes though. But that said, that's where we're gonna wrap it up, I think. But bear in mind, once again, some of these may come, all of them may come, who knows, but I'm certainly not expecting none of these to come because they have been addressed, some more so than others, specifically by Sledgehammer themselves. But just know there is an update coming this upcoming week for all platforms. PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC are gonna be getting an update itself, not just a playlist update in terms of, say, kicking off another playlist in the week 4 of the Resistance event to give us gun game, but instead an actual update you're gonna need to download, and then it will change a little bit about how the game plays overall and some of the features we see there within. That said, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. Are you guys looking forward to any of these things coming in terms of changes for World War II, or is there anything in particular you'd like to see come that maybe we didn't actually mention here in this video? Whatever it may be, let me know down there in the comment section down below. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding World War II. We're gonna keep you guys up to date with anything you need to know about Call of Duty World War II stuff, anything regarding best tips, class setups, news, information, leaks, showcases, all that good stuff we got you covered here up on the channel. So if any of it interests you, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. If you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, that's the best place to get connected with me outside of YouTube. Practically live on Twitter. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below. And finally, if you guys want to follow me over on Instagram as well, trying to get a little more active over there. So if you guys want to follow over on that avenue as well, feel free to, and that link is also in the description below. But that's it. Hopefully you guys had a fantastic day. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Mine is an espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.